Cancer does not define me. It does not define you, no matter what. If it's cancer, if it's another illness, your past does not define your future, and you can change that. And you can use that to help others. My name is Kasie. I am the founder of Kasie Helps Kids, which is a nonprofit helping kids with cancer. I started my organization about 8 years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer. I was just a normal kid and I was playing with a friend and I touched my neck and realized that there was a huge bump on my neck. A couple days later we go to the doctor and right away they knew it was thyroid issues. I had a biopsy that came out suspicious, so we had the option to have surgery. So I waited a little bit and we ended up going through with the surgery a few months later. I remember the day really perfectly. I was being wheeled to my room and my mom had asked me, she was very upset and she's like, do you know you have cancer? And the cancer had spread to my lymph nodes, some nodules. Both sides of my thyroid was removed, and I started treatments a week later. I had to go and be in isolation for my treatments. So I was 13 years old and having to be alone in a room for a week at a time, and no parents, nothing, while I was sick and I was afraid. So for me, I remember my dad actually had bought me a teddy bear, and it was really comforting to me to, even though that they weren't there, I could hold on to something. And that became my new normal, was being in the hospital and going to these events for kids with cancer. And, I was surrounded by it. And I just had this drive to give back and to help others. And that's really what kind of pushed me to do it. I remember one day I got up, and I think this was the second time I was diagnosed. I remember I'd been so sick all week, and I got up and I just did my hair and I got ready, and for nothing. I was just gonna sit there, but it made me feel so much better just to get up and just to force myself to get up and get ready and feel good about myself. And that's something that we've incorporated. One of our first fundraisers was a fashion show, and it was for the kids in the hospital. We had it in the auditorium there, and so all the kids got to come down and be a part of the fashion show and dress up and feel good and get out of the hospital room and have fun and dance. And that was kind of my motto, was just get up and keep going, and it makes a whole difference instead of staying in bed and kind of thinking about everything. And I look at life very differently now. Time is very precious to me, and so I like to make the most out of my time, which is why I am constantly busy, always, and I love it. When I'm bored, I feel like I am wasting my life away. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta do something, which is why I think I was able to work on my organization, was just because I knew that this was what I was supposed to do and this was my purpose. I love spending time with my family and my nieces and nephews and my friends, and I like to play tennis and go to the beach, traveling, hiking, just being outside. I love being outside, and that's something that I always find myself doing. If I've had a bad day, I'm gonna go to the park or go to the springs or go do something outdoors. Even if it's by myself, it's just relaxing to me, and that's kind of my peaceful area. I moved away to college, and then I had to come back home because I was going through all of these things, and I felt like I was never going to be able to get out and be normal. And so maybe a year later, I decided to study abroad, and I applied for a program. I got accepted. I moved 3 weeks later. I didn't even get myself time to think about it. I said, I'm not talking myself out of it. I'm going to do this. And I went over there by myself. Never been out of the country, in Europe or anywhere far besides Mexico. But I got on the plane, went by myself, moved into a place where I knew nobody. That was the point where that changed. I didn't have doctors there. I didn't even know how to get to a hospital if I needed to. So that was just the point to where that I needed that, and I would have never done that if that was me pushing myself, saying, okay, I'm going to get out of my bubble. I don't need these doctors forever. I don't need this, I can do this. And I just graduated college last year too. So I loved going to school. I love learning. So that was a huge accomplishment for me. So I want to go back to school and maybe get like a master's degree or something. But all the kids that I've been able to help and the families, they've all kind of made a mark on, my heart, and I like feel like this is just what I'm supposed to do. I need to do it, and it definitely helps me put everything into a different perspective. I'm here to, give back to others and to use my story to help other people. And I don't know, I have a lot of just different ideas that I want to do with the organization, but I think that I'll always be doing it until cancer doesn't exist anymore. So.